Custer's last stand, a phrase that echoes through history, shrouded in myth and mystery. But what truly happened on that fateful day? Welcome to our exploration of one of history's most debated events, the Battle of Little Bighorn. Today, we delve into the heart of the myth and the reality behind Custer's last stand. The popular narrative often paints Custer as a hero, valiantly fighting against insurmountable odds. However, the reality is far more complex. Custer's decisions on that day were controversial and led to a catastrophic defeat. While once seen as a heroic figure in American history, modern evaluations have often portrayed him as reckless, arrogant, and responsible for the disastrous outcome of the battle due to his poor decisions and tactics. But what actually caused the battle in the first place? Native American resistance. Various Native American tribes, including the Lakota Sioux, Cheyenne, and Arapaho, were resisting the incursion of their traditional lands by settlers and the U.S. government. They were also frustrated by broken treaties, loss of hunting grounds, and attempts to confine them onto reservations, which led to growing discontent and resistance. The discovery of gold in the Black Hills of South Dakota, a sacred area to the native tribes, intensified the conflicts. Prospectors and settlers flooded the region, disregarding previous treaties that had promised the land to the tribes. This rush for resources further escalated tensions between the two groups. U.S. government policies. The U.S. government aimed to control and contain the Native American tribes onto reservations through various policies, including forced relocations and the reduction of their traditional hunting grounds. These policies fueled the resistance among the tribes. Military campaigns. In response to the Native American resistance and to assert control over the region, the U.S. government initiated military campaigns. General George Armstrong Custer was part of these campaigns, tasked with subduing the Native American resistance in the area. Custer's Decision. General Custer led the 7th Cavalry Regiment into the Little Bighorn region, seeking to engage and defeat the Native American tribes that had gathered there. However, his decision-making, marked by overconfidence and inadequate intelligence, led to fatal errors that ultimately culminated in the devastating defeat of his forces. The battle itself. The battle unfolded in a series of engagements over 2 days, June 25th and 26, 1876. It began when General George Armstrong Custer led the 7th Cavalry Regiment into the valley of the Little Bighorn River, aiming to confront a gathering of Native American tribes. Commencement of the battle. On June 25th, Custer's forces split into 3 battalions under his command. Major Marcus Reno and Captain Frederick Benteen led separate detachments. Reno's battalion engaged the Native American encampment first, initiating an attack that initially seemed successful. However, overwhelmed by a much larger force than anticipated, Reno's men soon found themselves in a precarious situation, retreating to a defensive position on a nearby ridge. Meanwhile, Custer's battalion moved further and encountered its own intense fighting. Facing a formidable number of Native American warriors from multiple tribes, Custer's forces were swiftly surrounded and overwhelmed. Custer's last stand. Custer's command made a final stand on a hilltop, later known as Last Stand Hill. Surrounded by thousands of Native American warriors, his unit faced relentless attacks. The battle was fierce and chaotic. Despite gallant efforts, Custer's forces were outnumbered and outmaneuvered. Within a short time, all of Custer's men were killed in action. The exact sequence of events during Custer's last moments remains unclear due to the absence of survivors from his command. The Native American accounts, passed down through oral tradition, provide perspectives on what might have occurred during this critical phase of the battle. Conclusion of the battle. By the end of June 25th, Custer's command had been annihilated. Reno and Benteen's battalions were still under siege, holding defensive positions. On June 26th, the Native American warriors, having inflicted heavy casualties on the U.S. cavalry and faced with the potential arrival of more U.S. troops, withdrew from the battlefield. Reno and Benteen's men were eventually relieved by reinforcements arriving under General Alfred Terry and Colonel John Gibbon. The Battle of the Little Bighorn resulted in a resounding victory for the natives. Many experts believe Custer had ambitions on becoming the next president. Had he listened to his reports about the sheer numbers that he were facing, well, maybe he might have. So, it's fair to say, despite the movies and romanticizing, Custer's last stand was the result of extreme arrogance and would change American history forever.